POP TV, now you have more than a voice. Welcome. Good morning, Lagos. Good morning, Nigeria. Let's talk about sports. The Republic Show is now here for you so we can have and talk about what's really going on. The basic one is the fact that we heard, we learned, we saw, we knew. That news that says the Super Eagles are now paid. The Eagles back in the 1994 got paid after 31 years. That's a very bad news. I don't know what or whose report do you believe. Some people say it's okay that the government pledged on this and now they are redeeming it. But for me, I don't really think that makes maybe not much sense to say. Welcome, my name is Kizzy K and I have a lot to talk about on the show today with you as we ride together. We're looking at the first one. While many are believing our bros are being raised, amounts are waggling. A lot of people believe that Nigeria can never make it to the World Cup. But one man on the show today, former Super Eagles keeper Joseph Yobo, believes and has urged Nigerians not to write off the Eagles' qualification to the 2026 World Cup as their fate is not sealed yet. He stated this in an interview on the sideline of the Truth Ekong charity match held at the Mobolaji Johnson Arena, Lagos on Sunday. Monday was played Monday officially. Now, Yobo, a former Everton football player of England's side, defended and saying the Super Eagles can still make it to the World Cup. Urged Nigerians to get behind the team in their quest to reach the 2026 World Cup coming up in the USA, Canada, Mexico. The news agency of Nigeria reports that the Super Eagles face a dire, a very, very situation to qualify for the 2026 World Cup in 4th position from 6 matches in their qualifying Group C with 7 points. Now, Nigeria is currently sitting 6 points behind South Africa, who lead the group with 13 points with 4 games left in the series. Eric Charles' men must win all their remaining 4 matches to qualify. The Eagles will play Rwanda at home, South Africa away in September, while the last two away games in Benin Republic will be in October, where you also said that the Super Eagles are in a very big tight corner and then possibly we will qualify. Now, quoting Joseph Yobo on the show this morning, he said, it's a very tough space, but there is a possibility. We have been here before. We've been in that space before for this team. They should know how to grind out results. They need to play as a group united and also to ensure that they get the result needed. It doesn't mean we have to play well. We need to get the result. It doesn't mean we don't have to play well, but we need to get the result. That's the most important thing. And he said, if we drop any point from the group again, then we are out of the race. Now, Yobo also expressed confidence in the current class of the Super Eagles and the ability to turn their tables. Now, in the words of Joseph Yobo you have on your screen, he said, I believe in this set of players because I have been an assistant coach with them, and I believe that they have what it takes to get out and grind that result at this point in time. And I know they can do something, this type of circumstances, to wake them up, and maybe we must play a couple of games more. On his future in coaching role, Yobo was yet to decide what the future holds for him as a coach, adding that the role was not enticing to him. Okay, so now let's go on to the next phase before we bring it to a very big one coming up soon. Now, there's a news about South Africa, Rwanda. They're issuing warning to Nigerian Super Eagles, and that's what you make about stories like this, where we saw Super Eagles goalkeeper Stanley Nwabali has warned South Africa and Rwanda, the people, that Nigeria will not give up hope on their team's chances of qualifying for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Nwabali admits no opponent can be underrated, but he insists there is still plenty to play for, despite the Super Eagles' underwhelming start to the campaign. Moving on, Nigerian 3-time African champions are currently 4th in the Group C after 6 qualifying matches with just 6 points, having managed 1 point, that's 1 point win, 4 draws, and 1 defeat. South Africa, lead the group and they are on top of the log, but the Super Eagles are still believing that they can make it right on this. Now, with 4 fixtures remaining, 12 points still available, Nwabali believes the Super Eagles can still mount a late charge for a place at the global tournament, which will be jointly hosted by USA, United States, you call them Canada, Mexico. Now, Nwabali on Super Eagles' world chances. He said, it's football, anything is possible. It's football. Being Nigeria doesn't automatically mean we will beat everyone. I like to stop here. Being Nigerian, I like the word. It's football. Being Nigerian doesn't automatically mean we will beat everyone. Now, who told you that you're preparing for a very big one and the rest of them are not doing so? You might be thinking, yes, Nigeria is ready. The more you get ready, the more other clubs countries are getting ready. I used to say this and I'd like to say it again. Back in the days, we used to know minnows in the game, but do we still have minnows in the game? For me, I don't think so. The Benin Republic sound amazing to watch. Have you seen Ghana team look very focused? Have you seen the Zimbabwean side? They might not be like the big things you want to see on screen, but there's a team, compacted team. Now, the game I saw yesterday, personally, for me, I got scared. Right up here, I'm now beginning to think, I don't know how the Super Eagles want to grind their way out of this. Like Yobo rightly said, they want to be at the World Cup. Now, it's the mentality of the team, and I want to believe that they know what it takes to be at the World Cup, because when you check your stats as a footballer and you never played at a World Cup, I feel like your category, your stay on the game, for me, is incomplete. Players like 2023 African best, Victor Osimhen never played at the World Cup. He's never been at the World Cup before. Ademola Lookman, the recent African Player of the Year, never played at the World Cup before. So on their own part, like Yobo Rally said, I've been here before. They need to find a way around it to grind things out to get the result that Nigeria needs to be at the World Cup. Left for me, I don't know. I'm still reminiscing if Nigeria can make it to the World Cup. But you know something? Let me say this. Yesterday I saw the game where Fluminense played. Some like to see use Fluminense played against the South African side. And I recall back in the day, back in the time on the show, as last week or thereabout, I said, if there's any side that deserves to be at the World Cup, it should be the South African side. Now, what I saw yesterday got me scared, I must tell you. Where we saw the South African team, basically the Mamelodi Sundowns team at the FIFA Club World Cup, they got off yesterday with the African highest point, and they got, was it 4 points? Esperance, 3 points. Now, they drew with Fluminense. I saw a Brazilian side that we know, you and I can attest the fact that Brazilians eat football, they sleep football, they drink football, they dream football. All they know is football, so they read football. But yesterday, the Fluminense side, the 4-time champions of the Brazilian League, were struggling against an African side. They were even the side begging for the game to come to a close, because what I saw an organized Mamelodi Sundowns team. Even though a lot of people are questioning Cardoso, the coach, on that score. Now, I bring it back to the national team. I'll tell you, the side on top of the log, even if points are docked out from them, 3 points may be right, it would be 10 points. But can I tell you, they are not a team that you can write out of. You can't take them out and say they are not cool enough, they can't go on, because Nigeria plays South Africa next after Rwanda, and it's a must win. So, like the way it stands now, 4 games left on the radar, you don't have to miss out on any of them. If we just miss out on one of the results, then I'm sorry, we have to kiss the World Cup goodbye, like we did back in 2022. So if you ask me, I'll tell you, we should be very wary of all of the teams. No minus in the game anymore, especially on African shows. But I like to say this. South Africa is a scary team. See, I watched them play yesterday. I call them South Africa because you might not understand. Mamelodi Sundowns, they're really called, most of the players in that team. If you listen to the analysis from Malombo, Sean Bartlett, you understand what they are saying. They know that majority of the players in that South African squad ply their trade with Mamelodi Sundowns. There are a lot of clubs like Kaizer Chiefs, we know, the Orlando Pirates, I know the Chippa United, those clubs are there. But the best of them all, where you see most national team players ply their trade, the likes of Kekana, the likes of Lunga, Teboho Mokoena, the man with the yellow card, you saw him, and the Reyners, the striker. Modal, quality team they've got. They are good. They can hurt anybody. Kekana, that team is a very team to look out for. And they now play together. It's like an Al-Ahly playing against another club side. So the Egyptian sides are made of that Al-Ahly squad. Now we have to see the Super Eagles play against South Africa. So it's more like you're playing against a club side because they play together. They know themselves together. They've been together. So they know the styles they run to make. That's like a pressure on the Super Eagles gaffer every year. But what I believes we still have a good chance to qualify despite our current position. They said we are focused on the next game and we'll keep pushing to turn things around. But I like the part that we are taking it game after game. But I recall back before we had 6 games to play, I asked a lot of guests I had on the show the other time. I said, what side do you see making it out of this? They said Nigeria. And I'm like, where are you coming from? Are we going to win all our games? That's the word. And they said, we can. But at this point in time, nobody believes anymore that we can make it out of that group, because I'm so scared about that South African side. While you're also getting ready for South African side, just to know that Rwanda, Benin Republic, Lesotho, Zimbabwe, they are also not sleeping. The Super Eagles must now shift their attention to make or break September doubleheader, first hosting Rwanda before a tricky away trip to South Africa. That's the most scary of them. But I tell you, the former African side, or the former African champions, will then face Lesotho away and Benin at home in October, rounding off what has been tense qualification series. Having missed out on the 2022 World Cup in Qatar, Nigeria are desperate to avoid a back-to-back absence from the world stage. Now, I tell you, the Super Eagles have qualified for 6 of their last 8 World Cup and famously reached the round of 16 back in 1994, 1998, and the 2014 time, I recall. Yes. So what's next for Nigeria? Can we make it to the World Cup? Time will tell. But let's move on. Before we talk about the 1994 story, we'll talk about that. We'll bring the picture so clips you can see for yourself. Let's talk about the Super Eagles. A lot of people are saying this on social media, it's trending out there. People saying they play with less energy. Now, less energy, what you bring sometimes is what people like to take. But they say super abroad, super at home, Super Eagles daily, man. Now, let me tell you, Nigerian footballers are making serious waves across Europe. You know that. But we know when it turns or when they return back to the national team, that spark seems to fade. Can I tell you? I'll start with the king of Nigerian football for now, Victor Osimhen. Not about the CAF award, I'm talking about generally. He topped the Serie A scoring chart back in 2022-23 season, if you recall, and played a key role for Napoli in the Scudetto win. On loan to Galatasaray the past season, he maintained his red-hot form. Now he netted over 35 goals and guided the Turkish Giants to a domestic double. That's a Nigerian. Now Ola Aina, another player who enjoyed the standout season with Nottingham Forest, making 35 appearances and providing his value with consistent performances at both fullback. Now another one we have on the list is Tolu Arokodare. Arokodare, that's the name. Tolu Arokodare has taken the Belgian league by storm, scoring over 20 league goals last season and cementing his place as one of the most exciting young strikers in Europe. With players performing at that level, Nigeria should be cruising through World Cup qualifiers. What's going on? Which way Nigeria? Now, but that hasn't been the case. A win over Rwanda and a lackluster draw against Zimbabwe have left the Super Eagles sitting down in their group, 6 points behind the top leaders. The problem now isn't about talent for me, but it's about the structure. I'm going to explain to you so you know. Now, in Europe, these players thrive well, structured teams, under stable coaching condition, and with full backing of professional setups. In contrast, the national team often feels disjointed, plagued with poor planning, tactical problems, and frequent changes in leadership. I like to say this again so you know. This is like the basic problem we are having. Number one, you say you can picture it out, the structure. We don't have that structure. In contrast, the national team often feels disjointed. Now, I thought, if you ask me, I would say that what I know about the game is procedure. It's a phase, and that's how we should go, and that's how we should run. I'll explain to you what I mean. Now, take it back to 1980. I wasn't born at 1980 to say, but I know 21st century kid, the YouTube did justice. And you bring it back, the 1980 Nations Cup, when we did win the Nations Cup, that was the first one we won. The likes of Adoki, Amesemaka, Shegun Digbami, of blessed memory, the man we lost in the struggle recently, Christian Chukwu. You know, that set was great to watch. Aloysius Ago, they call him. Now, let me leave that side. Let me bring it to the recent, not like the recent to say, but 31 years ago, we have the 1994 squad. The Benedict Iroha, the Peter Rufai, the Uche Okichukwu, the JJ, the Olise, the Fenede, you know, the Rashidi Yakini of blessed memory, Thompson Oliha of blessed memory, Stephen Keshi, the captain of blessed memory, Emmanuel. We could keep going on and call these guys' names, but I tell you, there was a structure when you see that 94, and we kept on moving. If you see, I explain this all the time, 93, 94, there was this connection we saw that some of the young ones will have to play for the 93 Japan squad. Japan 93, that's what they call it. But as at 1994, these guys you have on your screen were good to watch. They were amazing to see. They were just like the next big thing. And you can, okay, this is like a squad. Let me see. Yeah, I think I could call this squad from my head. Let me see. Now, starting from the goalkeeper, that's, okay, this is the dance. Amonike, Okechukwu, and then Amokachi. Let's go with the other one. Yes, this picture says a lot. When I look at this picture most of the time, I ask questions like, how can we still have a team like this? At this point in time, this team you see, we are the 5th best team in the world. And Peter Rufai was great to see. Achidi Wano also. Finidi George, like I call the names just the way they stand. Augustine Iguanwa, we see number 2 jersey. Samson Siasia, number 12. You see the jersey number, Uche number 5. Rashidi Yakini, the man that scored the first goal for Nigeria at the World Cup, our all-time leading scorer. He's late today. He was there. Amunike, staying close, number 11. Sunday Olise, that's number 15. You can see them. And Benedict Iroha, the left back master, and then Amokachi. That's the list you see on your screen. Now, these guys had what they call the leadership quality. They were not disjointed. The structure was there. But right now, it's a different ball game where we're plagued with poor planning. We have to wait for the competition to be close. When it gets close, that's when you start seeing the NFF making a run up and down. We're going up, we're going down, we're trying to make things work out for our good. But I tell you, it doesn't really work that way. Now, tactical problems, frequent changes of leadership. Who's the manager? Today we're having Eric Shell. Tomorrow, who knows who's going to be the next manager for Super Eagles? I don't even know. But if only Nigerians or Nigeria, or better word, the letter to the NFF can be calm in a bit, take a deep breath, watch the structure, ask questions, what do we need to do? If possible, getting the right people on the job. Can I tell you something? Since Stephen Keshi, the last coach to win a trophy with Nigeria, the Super Eagles, you can see that Stephen Keshi lifted the trophy. You have that picture so people can see Stephen Keshi. Yes, when lifting that trophy, you can see him. The Super Eagles have made 10 changes to the national team management. I'll tell you, for the Super Eagles to truly fly, the Nigerian Football Federation must raise its standards. That means reducing off-field distraction and building a proper football structure, football culture, one that mirrors the professionalism these players are used to and their clubs. So it's a different ball game. I say it again. For the Super Eagles to truly fly, the Nigerian Football Federation must raise its standard. That's the first thing we need to do. That's JJ back in the 1994. You can see him. That means reducing off-field distraction and building a proper football culture, one that mirrors the professionalism these players are used to at their club side. So it won't be different from the club to the countryside. Until that happens, Nigeria will keep producing stars. That sketch you have on the screen. This man is late today. The leader or leadership quality manager, you could say he's just like, what's the word for simplification? He's known for the ball as the boss. That's what they call him. Now, his playing time or his playing years or his playing career was amazing. He had some spells. We know he's moved away from the country and how far he has been. He was the leader at the 94 set. He wasn't a starter. He wasn't really a starter to say, but I can tell you he has that quality. He has won the Nations Cup as a player and as a coach. He was that good that they had to rename a stadium in Delta State, Asaba to be precise, over his name, Stephen Keshi, Stephen Okechukwu. So now, the last time we saw a Nations Cup trophy back in Nigeria was when he was in charge. And you ask questions, which way Nigeria, where do we go from here? Are we making things right? If you ask me, I'll tell you, maybe not. We're not doing things right. We need to bring in the people that knows this job. If possible, let's see the administrative rule go on very right. People that knows the game, not just people that come to their offices and then at the end of the day, they are paid for what they don't know about. That's how it works in the Nigerian football sector, I must tell you. Without no disrespect, I must tell you. Because if they do know this game well, this fire brigade method would not be kicking out. We cannot wait to see, we cannot wait till the tournament is closed before we start preparation. That's how bad it is. No one is scared about the Super Eagles anymore. See, if Nigeria happens to play Chad tomorrow, nobody will cough. Like nobody's scared. We don't even mind. We don't have that fear factor. Do we have the qualities? Yes. But the name is there, the quality is there, but the team is not there. This happens because of the often disjointment. I told you, from 2013 till date, you can count how many managers have managed a national team. It does not work like that now. Come on. It doesn't work. Look at the German team, Joachim Low, when he won the World Cup with the German side. He was given a time, it was a phase, and that's the structure. We don't believe in time. We never believe in process, because if we do believe in process, we'll have to watch our team from the under 17, under 20, under 23, and to the Super Eagles. You begin to see a sector that moves like the Japan 93 to the 94. Now, if you watch that set of players, okay, let me structureize stuff.
Also follow us on all our social media platforms. We are at VOPTV Live. Visit our website www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. Also watch us live on SLTV channel 264. VOPTV, Voice of the People Television.
Are you ready for the extraordinary? Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing VOPTV, now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We break in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. VOP TV on SLTV channel 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
To know the happenings in the maritime sector, join us on the program Maritime Frontiers on VOP TV as we discuss key areas in the maritime sector, from aquaculture, maritime transportation, maritime labor regulation, oil and gas exploration, ferry and passenger insurance, marine pollution and prevention, port operations, and lots more.
Join me on Sundays every 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. on Voice of the People TV.
Maritime Frontiers, exploring Nigeria's blue economy.
Voice of the People Television awuchiela onye nụ ya ka ọrụ ibe ya. Ị chọrọ ịmata akọ ndị gbara n'akwụkwọ akọ dị iche iche n'ala anyị kwa ụbọchị. Ị chọrọ ịmata ka o si afịatụ na ndọrọndọrọ ọchịchị, agụmakwụkwọ, azụmahịa, ime njem, ọbụla dị egwuregwu. Mgbasonyere anyị n'oge ndị Igbo na Voice of the People Television. Anyị nwere ndị ọbịa bụ ọkachamara, bụkwa ndị ga-enye aka tapịa isiokwu ndị anyị jiri bịa kwa ụbọchị. Anyị ga-eji ka o siri gbaa n'akwụkwọ akụkọ dị iche iche wee malite tupu anyị akọzie n'uju n'ubi onye anyị bịara na nke ya.
Ịgbamụrụ nzem ọzọ kedukosi ya gaziere onye ukwu ma gaziere onye nta.
Mkparịta ụka tọrọ atọ ka anyị ga-ewetara gị bụkwa nke ga-eme ka ịmata ka ihe si aga n'ala anyị bụ Naịjirịa, ọbụla dị na mba ofesi. Oge ndị Igbo na Voice of the People Television ga na-abịara gị site n'ụbọchị Mọnde ruo Fraịde na SLTV channel 264. Ekwekwala ka akọrọ gị ya akọrọ. Chetakwa na ọ bụ na SLTV channel 264.
Welcome back from that quick break. Let's go into it again, where we talked about the 1994 set of players. Now, we'll let you know that the federal government of Nigeria has finally fulfilled its 3-decade-old promise. You could say it's like a decade now. You could say 10-10-10. Promise of full allocation to members of the 1994 Super Eagles squad that won the African Cup of Nations back in Tunisia. This was disclosed in the statement posted on the ministry website on Wednesday. One of the beneficiaries, former striker Efani Koko, was presented with an allocation letter for a house in Abuja. He wasn't even present because, you know, he's very busy. There's a picture about his niece who got on that very well. Now, he was represented at the brief ceremony by his niece. Her name is Lisa Jennifer, the director and head of Department of Public Building and Housing Development. Kwemi Temitope presented the letter on behalf of the Minister of Housing and Urban Development. Temitope described the move as part of the government's commitment to rewarding the patriotic service of the team, which brought honor to the nation 3 decades ago. Now, she went as far as saying, I'm deeply grateful to the federal government and the Ministry of Housing for fulfilling a long-standing pledge to my uncle. It's truly heartening to witness such commitments to integrity and to follow through. This gesture not only honors Mr. Efani Koko's service, but also restores faith in the value of public promises being kept. It will be recalled that the former president of Nigeria, Muhammad Buhari, approved the implementation of the 1994 Housing Pledge in 2022, and that's 28 years later after it was, first made. Now, housing units are being allocated to members of the team in various states, while someone or some people like Efani Koko received theirs in Abuja. So it's not just about him. But before we move on, we would have brought you that very one so you could have seen the niece, Lisa Jennifer, with that very, she was having that award. This is not an award to say I don't want to use the word paper, but I must talk about this one because I don't know what you make about that story. This story now is something that I would say is a word like old story. If one says still, yes. Yeah, that's it. Let me get it full so we can have that on the screen. This thing, if I even zoom this thing on paper, they'll call it, but allocation done the inside. But I don't know what, I don't know how, in fact, the word is, I'm just thinking. Now, I would like to let you know that talking about this said houses that will be given, it's not the first time we've heard things like this. We know Muhammadu Buhari, the former president of Nigeria, was the one that implemented this, and that was back in 2022. Now, these houses allocation, so now we had some of them were given to them in their states, so different states. Now, do you know that this 1994 set of people, some of them are late today? Do you know? Some of them are late today. If I remember this story, if you would recall, I told you the other time that the federal government of Nigeria said they will make things right, and we recall our current president, the #1 citizen, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, as of 2021, cleared some debt. You know, cleared all of the debt. That's the word. He cleared all of the debts, and at some point, we still heard news about the Nigerian Football Federation being investigated over something again that has to do with funds. Now, while people are jumping up for this story, I am personally not happy about it. Because if we should be like a country that will say talk and do, no disrespect to the federal government, it's nice to see that they pledged and they've redeemed it, not bad. But I'm saying, do you know how Rashidi Yekini died? Have you heard Rashidi Yekini's story? Please go check it out. The man that scored the first goal that we had, you see his picture, scoring the goal, holding the net. That goal meant a lot to the Nigerian, to the player, the #9 striker. He's our all-time leading top scorer. He was at the first 98. That was the last World Cup he went for. And if you look back at that time, look at the structure, you will see that we had it all right. Now, houses that have been promised to them, or something that we would have done a long time ago, is being done now. Someone is saying, I'm thanking them. You have your opinions to thank the federal government, but for me, I'm sorry. I don't think it's a news to be celebrated, because how long and how well have we come? This is a story that we should have been, it's maybe a past story, not like it shouldn't be recent. So anyone coming out to celebrate this news, I don't know, maybe you're just on your own. For me, I don't think it's a news. Thompson Oliha was my coach, he was my manager back in Kwara United, at Kwara Football Academy. He talked about the national team a lot. Today he's no more. He was part of that squad. That was the man that was playing the #10 role, and JJ Okocha was quite young. If you see Okocha's picture, let me Okocha's picture back at 94, you see Okocha was very small, he was that so young then. So he was brought into the team to succeed Thompson Oliha. And of course he did. He took the tally, he took the mantle himself and showed the world that yes, I'm JJ. So good that they had to name him twice. That's JJ Okocha. As at that point, you play with the earrings, sometimes they have the necklace around their necks. But it's different from what we know. Houses, allocations. See, personally for me, I'm not celebrating this one. No. I don't know if you select celebrate to say they have tried well. Because this one is not about the NFF alone now. The NFF have their own problem, but you can hear me saying the federal government of Nigeria, they are the one on these shelves, they are the one on this. Now, houses allocated to players from different, so maybe Rashidi Yekini, I don't know, you have to get his own in the state, so family members will have to take it. Yes, they should have to take it, because it's so bad, or it feels so bad that you play for the national team to a certain level, and at some point you not remember. That's why I ask questions. You say this one is born abroad, he wants to play in Nigeria. Do we offer it well to those who said, yes, I want to be patriotic enough to play for the Nigerian side? Tomorrow, we'll come to talk about something else. They are late today, and for me, it's not really a talk point, I must say. But hopefully on the show tomorrow, we'll tell you about one man who said he wasn't really treated well by Nigerians before. That's family, but right now, your vision is different. And that also will bring your comments on the show where you talked about the Super Eagles and the way the structure have to go. But up until then, I'll be back on the show tomorrow. Will be a Friday, a different version of it, the Pidgin version, and then we'll talk about the Super Eagles and give you other sporting news just as you unfold. My name is Kizzy K and I'm signing out. I'll see you again tomorrow. Don't forget I am the only football player without a jersey. Tomorrow will be a better time. I'll see you.